Man, just look at this list, man. Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Franck Ribéry, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Neymar Jr., Andres Iniesta, Robin van Persie, Arjen Robben, Gareth Bale, and Andrea Pirlo. This was the top 10 Ballon d'Or ranking in 2013. Let's take a look at the most recent ones. The top 10 Ballon d'Or ranking in 2024. Rodri, Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, Dani Carvajal, Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappé, Lautaro, Lamine Lamine Yamal, Toni Kroos, and Harry Kane. If you put these side by side, if you compare them one by one, Ronaldo, Rodri, Ronaldo, Messi, Vini, Messi, Ribéry, Bellingham, Ribéry, Zlatan, Carvajal, Zlatan, Neymar, Haaland, Neymar, Iniesta, Mbappe, that's actually, but even this Mbappe is cooked. Iniesta, Van Persie, Martinez, Van Persie, Robben, Yamal, Robben, Bale, Kroos, Bale, and Pirlo, Harry Kane, Pirlo. Wow, football has fallen off so much. So much. Basically 11 years forward. Let's do it opposite. Let's do Pirlo. Pirlo better than Rodri. Pirlo better than Vini. Pirlo better than Jude. Pirlo better than Carvajal. The 10th best player is better than all the players on this list. Bale, better than all. Robben, better than all. Van Persie, potentially better than all. Iniesta better than all, Neymar better than all, Ibra better than all, Ribéry better than all, Messi better than all, and Cristiano Ronaldo better than all. Football is at a point where, look, my main opinion about this, why I think this has happened, this starts in the academies. When you are a football player coming through the academy, the manager is not telling you to express yourself. The manager is telling you to adapt into his system. That eventually makes you into a system player. You basically become a cog in the system. You have a role in the system. Back in the day, sure, you had role players. You had role players in the team. I mean, United team from before, Gary Neville, role player. Barcelona, Eric Abidal, a role player. So you always had, role players in the team. That's obvious. Now the issue is everyone is a role player. Even a player like Vinicius Jr., he's somewhat of a system player, especially when we see the performances between Madrid. But at least when he has some ability. But honestly, it's not just about the top 10. It's just football in general. So when the managers tell the players, don't express yourselves, fit into the system, we're not... So even if the talent that is coming through potentially is even better because more people are competing for the sport, there's more money into the sport, more investment and everything, we should have more talented football players. But I think it's all because of that. The rooted footballing system. It's not about football players expressing themselves. I mean, Neymar Jr., probably the best football expresser of all time. If he came up through the academies now, I don't know if he would have been exactly the same. Because of the managers have more and more power than they used to have back in the day of how the football players are supposed to play. Messi, you don't tell him how to play. Ronaldo, you don't tell him how to play. Ribéry, Ibra, Neymar, Iniesta, Van Persie. These players, you don't tell them how to play. They play their game. What the manager has to do is put out the best 11 that suits everything and can get the best out of the best players. But now, it's not like that anymore. Rodri, I mean, he's a system merchant. Bellingham, Carvajal, oh my goodness, man. It's absolutely disgusting when I look and compare these two lists to each other. It's genuinely woeful. And now I've even brought 2005 rankings to the mix here. Ronaldinho, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, Thierry Henry, Andriy Shevchenko, Paolo Maldini, Adriano, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Kaká, Samuel Eto'o, Ronaldinho, Rodri, Ronaldinho, Lampard, Vini. Honestly, I'm going to give it to Vini there. Gerrard, Bellingham, Gerrard, Henry, Carvajal, Henry, Shevchenko, Haaland, Shevchenko, Maldini, Mbappe, Maldini, Adriano, Martinez, Adriano, Ibra, Yamal, Ibra, Kaká, Toni Kroos, Kaká. Honestly, shout out to Toni Kroos. Well, potentially Kaká better. Somebody to Harry Kane, somebody to. one positive thing there is to say is that the upcoming generation of football players is looking better than the current generation that we have. So the current generation that we have is players born at like 80s, late 80s are still in the mix. Like I think Carvajal is probably 80s, Harry Kane is probably 80s. And then we got the 90s. The 90s generation, honestly, one of the worst generations we have seen. But I think the upcoming one, the João Neves, the Yamans, the Cherkis, the Barcola, the Elises, the João Neves, the Nini Mendes, the Arda Gullos, the Camavingas. I think this generation is honestly better than this generation we got. So the top 10 in 2030 or 2035 even will definitely be better than anything we've had in 2024. It's generally woeful. It's honestly woeful, this list, when you compare it to anything previously. Even if you go to 1995, put 1995 underneath me here. George Weah, Jürgen Klinsmann, Jari Littmanen, Alessandro Del Piero, Patrick Kluivert, Gianfranco Zola, Paolo Maldini, Mark Overmars, Matthias Sammer, Michael Laudrup. Well, I would say it's 2024 is the worst one. 1995 is the third. 2004 is the second, and 2013 is the best. So when looking at this honestly, what it's also telling us more is that the peak generation of football was basically the 2010s. That was the peak of football when it came to individual talent and brilliance. But as I said, the upcoming one for 2035 could potentially be very interesting. Could be very interesting. Because looking now at the 90s, it's not as strong as 05 or 13. Still has strong players. I mean, Maldini, Overmars, Laudrup, Del Piero, and George Weah are like the main ones from that list that are really strong. But yeah, for my sake, as a PSG fan, as a football enjoyer, let's hope more talented players come through the ranks, which is looking like the next generation of crops of players will give us. And second of all, we'll move power from the managers. The reason the managers got more power is, think about it like this. If you rely on a system and you rely on individual talent, what is less risky? Because that has been the issue with everything in sports, in football. It's all about money. PSG wants to make as much money as possible. United wants to make as much money as possible. Real Madrid, Barca, everyone wants to make as much money as possible, which means you don't want to take as big of risks. If you rely on individual talent, that player gets injured, you're cooked. That player has a bad game, you're cooked. System, way less risk. Way less risk. But the football, the sport, is just way less enjoyable without the talent. We watch football for the football players, not for the football managers. Let me know in the comments down below, what's your thoughts between comparing the 1995, 05, 2013, and 2014 top 10 Ballon d'Or rankings? That's been it from boy PSG. And as usual, allez, bye.